Hello, this is John, Jaw 1, and we are looking at the One Year Bible. We're looking at day 129, and today we're looking at John chapter 6. And in this chapter, Jesus feeds 5,000 people and then walks on water. I find that this first part, it says in verse 6 that he was testing Philip. You know, God, God's tests often involve enlarging our heart's capacity to love, and our heart's capacity to love not just with our own strength, but our capacity to receive on God's initiative, the capacity to give far much more than we can give in our own strength. And I'll be honest, these kinds of tests of love and faith always stretch me. I mean, I don't think we get used to the way we think normal reality works when we're in control. And God asks us to love beyond our capacity and beyond our boundaries of control. And we know if God shows up, things will work out. If God doesn't show up, we end up with a very humbling event. And that's it. I mean, there's no way to live into the reality of this passage without risk. And and also the thing is, the risk is directly tied to recognizing and seeing people's needs for what they really are. At the end of this first section, people really like this idea of Jesus having this role of being the one that gives them free food. And they want to make him king because of that. And Jesus doesn't let them foist their agenda on him. People respond to miraculous signs with a positive sense of affirmation, but they don't respond necessarily with clarity and understanding. Some people ask why God doesn't do more miracles. I think this passage really highlights that, in that because of the miracles, people start making plans for how they want to use God, rather than really getting to know who God is on God's terms. And that's a tragic reality, because God actually wants us to enter into fellowship with him. And the fellowship is a dynamic of knowing and being known. And the knowing means the very first thing that you have to know about God is that you can't manipulate God or control him. And as soon as you try, just like this passage, you try to control and manipulate God, and poof, he will disappear out of the picture so quick. Because that's not what God is wanting in relationships. And unlike us, where we sometimes get controlled and manipulated, God, very rarely. I mean, I can think of Abraham with his understanding of God, praying for Lot and praying for the Sodom and Gomorrah and begging God not to destroy that city. And God's gracious intervention in Lot's life. But that's another text. Going back, then, Jesus' disciples went out to the shore and they got into the boat and they were heading to Capernaum. And it looks like in this case, they get into the boat without him. And they start heading off thinking they were going to get somewhere. And in this case, they're caught in a storm and they're not going to get anywhere without Jesus. And this situation, they're kind of rushing ahead of God, leaves them terrified. And it's really, time and energy and space all of a sudden fold together in a dimensional way that again just completely bends people out of their sense of ordinary. First, Jesus is walking on the water towards the boat. He tells them, "Hey, it's me, don't be afraid. I'm here." Then they were eager to let him into the boat, and immediately they arrived at their destination. After all that fighting and struggle and effort, where they were, caught in a storm, all of a sudden, reality shifts, and they're where they've wanted to be all the time. I think there's a metaphor about moving with the impulse of God and in the timing of God that's here. That's a good reminder for me, because I have that tendency, like the disciples here, to rush ahead of God and try to be in control of things that I'm not. And then I'm surprised when God does take control of reality and reshapes it. It always surprises me. Well, those are my thoughts for today. God bless you all. Keep the faith.